Hi, this is Cheryl Ling. So I'm kind of excited because we're gonna change the FDA director. I don't know if you have been following up on this because of the new administration. Obviously, it's not gonna be as crooked as the whole FDA when they had. How do I know? Because I suffered from it. I had a very severe hip injury and also called impingement. Tore down the cartilage on the hip, and I was seeking out, this was like 5-6 years ago, so-called the autologous stem cell, which they draw your bone marrow to obtain stem cells, and because you can only draw so much, so the procedure involves cultivating it in the lab. And when I go to sign up for that, this is a Colorado Regenix, I'm sure you heard me talking about it before, and they said suddenly they go, FDA just ban them, and literally, people have bone marrow drawn in the lab, and they're wasted. They had to be thrown out. When clearly the so-called the Food and Drug Administration, what did they have to do to interfere with what a doctor does and a single patient? The FDA at that time were totally in the pocket of the big pharmaceutical companies. So their excuse was that once the cells are drawn and into the lab, into cultivation, it is considered a drug. That is just totally ridiculous. It's just like the Ninth Circuit judges that they're starting to make laws instead of interpreting laws. While the FDA, the government, really have nothing to do with our decision between us and the doctor, which I volunteered to have the bone marrow draw and to expand the cells, in which they were banned. So inconveniently, that procedure was not available unless we go to Cayman Island, because they open up shops there in order to do the cultured stem cell. So the cultured stem cell procedure is just taking your cells and expand them, which has been done like even in animals for years, and it would never have any problems. For example, like horses, race horses, they've been using, the vets been using the cultured stem cell procedure for years. So my contention was obviously that we're fighting in vain. It doesn't matter how just cognitive and how eloquent you are to try to impress the so-called the panel of the FDA people. They're just gonna shut their ears because they got too much cash stuffed in front of their eyes. You see what I'm saying? The big pharmaceutical company had really oppressed us, the people, the patients, and the doctors from making our own decisions to do this procedure for orthopedic healing. So my question is now, we have a few contenders for the new FDA position. I think one is Gottlieb, one is O'Neill, and Golfo. I thought maybe he's just like the probably left over from the old batch, and we don't want that. So my question is, who would be best served as the new FDA director that will lift this ban on the patients and the doctors and volunteering their stem cell, the autologous stem cell cultured procedure?